You once said you did not worry of economic recession in 2019, and we have been excited to see that the recent recovery in risk assets seem to reach a fever pitch. So I'm curious, how do you assess the resilience of global economy in 2019, and do you think the risk assets have gotten ahead of themselves?
That the economy globally is doing quite well, although certainly we all experienced at the end of 2018 a sense or a perception that overall economic growth was slowing. I think certainly outside the United States we really did see a slowdown as we finished the year, but central banks around the world have become more accommodative, and as we look at the world today, the world's growing quite nicely, and I think we've seen a little bit of a pickup here in China, and the U.S. economy continues to grow at trend. So naturally, with that accommodative central bank stance and markets doing quite well, risk assets are certainly back on, risk is back on, and I think we're in a place where that trend should sustain itself. I don't think that risk assets are ahead of themselves at this point, but there's no question that's something we're watching closely.
And just the last week, IMF revised its annual forecast of 2019 for the global economy. So how do you read it? And do you see any economic recession in 2020 as the fiscal sugar rush fades?
I don't see the chances of a recession in the near term in the U.S. economy. And I assume you're asking about the U.S. economy when you're asking about recession, or even as we extend into 2020. Obviously, the longer the cycle runs, the more the chance of a slowdown increases. But at the moment, the U.S. is growing a trend. Growth around the world feels like it's picked up a little bit, and central banks are very accommodative. So the combination of those things doesn't lead you to believe that an economic slowdown or the chances of an economic slowdown is actually accelerating.